Want to help the channel? Go to shopclownfish.com where you can check out official Clownfish TV merchandise in our brand new shop. It helps us out. Also, check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/clownfishtv for more art and gaming live streams that we don't do on YouTube. We want to see you over there as well. Now let's get into the video. Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And it's time for another daily dose of dismal Disney.
Yeah.
Seems like we're getting a lot of those videos lately,
Well,
right?
that's all we pretty much do on this channel with Disney. If you want to hear positive Disney, I would recommend going to P&P.
Yeah, go to piratesandprincesses.net for Disney news. We basically cover the big stuff here on Clownfish TV because it intersects with pop culture because Disney owns so much of it.
Well, before we get started, we should say one thing. Today is the 65th anniversary of Disneyland.
Yes, it is.
So there is positivity there.
Even
because
if it's
happy
closed.
birthday to Disneyland that is closed. But, you know, I will say, if you've been a person that's gone to Disney World and you haven't gone to Disneyland or vice versa, and you're thinking, well, they're the same thing, they really, really are not. So they're totally different vibes. I recommend going to both.
Yeah, I grew up
Not right now, though.
No, I would stay away. I grew up going to Disneyland as a kid. We used to go every summer.
I grew up going to Disney World.
Yeah, so it was kind of a shock for me to go from Disneyland to Disney World.
And vice versa.
And vice versa. Although I will say Disneyland has, in my opinion, has the better version of Pirates.
Oh, no question.
And Space Mountain, though. I like Space Mountain
It
better.
is smoother. The cars at Disney World, it's like, you know, if you like your back, you probably don't want to ride the Disney World version. Our daughter does prefer the Disney World version because it's scarier.
Well, it is scary
It's one
because
of her
you're trying to
favorites.
keep yourself in the damn car.
Now, the Splash Mountains are both different.
Yes.
And I some people argue with me on this. I don't really care. I think the Small World, I like the Small World better at Walt Disney World.
I actually would agree. I mean, I get that that's the original that was at the World's Fair, but I think the Disney World version's more polished. However, the Tiki Room is better, I believe.
That's true.
Over there. Anyway,
so-
that is our Disney nerd talk here. So here's the thing. There's a lot going on in regards to Disney, in regards to Disney being shut down, in regards to COVID, and the talk. And I've been saying it, and people keep saying I'm crazy, but I keep saying that I think they might shut down again. I think Disney World might shut down again.
Well, you're saying now there might be more validity to that.
Yes.
I still think they won't unless the governor makes them.
Well, that's the thing. The governor might make them.
Okay, see, the governor makes them, they have that excuse. They can put the blame on somebody else. If the blame's
Right.
on them, they won't. Because too many people would be pissed.
Yeah,
Sorry,
and-
mad.
Mad. We say worse than that. We say worse than that on this channel.
They'll
So
be effing mad.
they will be. They'll be hopping mad. But the thing is that this is where it gets really interesting, because back to WDW Pro on the Magic Forum, some folks sent me a link to his latest
Right,
thread.
and if you think he's wrong, you can, you know,
Check his
sit and
track record.
spin, because he legitimately does seem to get a lot of things right, even if you're a salty penguin.
Yes, even if you're a salty penguin, doesn't mean what he's saying isn't true, and he's been right like 95% of the time.
Yeah, he's not always right, but he's mostly right.
Right. So let's talk about the possibility that Disney could shut down again, and then what that could mean. Now, Abigail Disney came out yesterday or the day before and said she is completely confused why Disney's even reopening during a Florida, or why they're reopening Florida during the pandemic, which is skyrocketing. The cases are skyrocketing in Florida, and she also wants to be taxed more.
Well, you know, there actually is a millionaire group out there, or millionaire plus, that do say that they think they should be taxed more fairly, because it's not fair to put all the tax, heavy tax burden onto the middle class, and they think they should be, you know, taxed more fairly, because laws have not always been passed in such a way that allows it to be fair. Yeah,
look, you know, if you're a business owner, you're a one percenter, there are more opportunities to write things off, to skirt those tax laws. So yeah, but she's coming now. Abigail Disney, she even says at the very end, she says she does not have an open line of communication to the Disney company.
Well, she doesn't.
She's been very, very critical of Disney in recent years, especially how they treat their employees. But she's also just very vocal anyway.
Yeah.
So, but I've been saying it because I think that the government might shut down Florida again. And now this is coming from Deadline. Disney could close again due to COVID-19, reopen in mid-2021. back to WDW Pro.
That's longer than I think.
That is longer.
I don't think it'll go that long.
I was thinking January of next year.
Right. I don't think it'll go to mid 2021. I think they might shut down again. I don't think it's going to go mid 2021.
Right. So this, again, this is just coming from an analyst. We don't know. The only way they're going to shut down, and we've said before, they would have to be forced to shut down. At this point, Disney is in dire straits, and no amount of social media pressure is going to make them close.
No.
Because they need the money. They need it.
Lawsuits might.
Lawsuits might.
That's about
well,
it.
you waive your right to sue going into the park.
That's if people don't understand that. You go and you get sick. They're also going to have a hard time to prove it was from there. You
right.
know, they're going to be like, well, prove you got
could
it
have been
here.
the airport, could have been the ride
exactly.
over, could have been.
So you're gonna have an uphill battle to begin with, and then they had more money than you. Again, if you want to go to the parks, that's up to you. By all means, go if you want to go and you feel safe doing it. I'm not going to tell you not to go.
Yeah.
Just make sure when you go, you follow the rules. That's all I'm asking. Follow the rules when you go because we want to keep the parks open or at least make it safer for people. So follow the damn rules. But if you want to go, go. If you don't want to go, don't go. We're not going.
Yeah. We just
I don't want a 2-week quarantine when I get home.
Yeah, and plus it looks like a pain. It looks like a pain in the ass all the way around.
It does.
I mean, I'm
really
gonna be
does.
honest. I'm like, it's not worth the hassle.
However, the wait times are ridiculously low.
Oh yeah,
that is the one. Like really?
I mean, it looks like a nuclear fallout because I'm watching. Pinky Boo watches all the Disney vlogger videos, and
she does. She's like a walking encyclopedia on Disney history and trivia.
Oh yeah, and the cast members have the face shields on, and everybody's wearing a mask. I'm like, this looks like some weird. Like, I love the videos where they took the welcome back message and they added horror movie music to it, like the music from Us. I'm like, that's what it feels like.
When they had, because their mouths are covered, they were putting whatever, like, please don't come, don't come. It was funny. It was funny. Anyway, so what's going on? This analyst Doug Kreutz said in a new note that there's a meaningful probability. We're hearing this too.
Yep, that Disney World will be forced again. Forced, not them doing it because they're nice. Forced to close again because of the pandemic. Deadline reports, he said there's a chance the park will operate with current measures until mid-2021.
Yeah, that's true. I know they're doing the, you have to have a ticket. Now you have to have a reserved, park pass reservation. Yeah. Even if you have a ticket for the park, even if you have an annual pass, doesn't matter. You have to have the park pass reservation. That is how they are controlling the amount of people in their park for their levels. Now, this is allegedly going to be going on until September 26th of next year.
Yeah, well, pretty much until they find a vaccine.
That might go longer.
Herd immunity or whatever the hell is going to happen.
At least till
whatever is going to happen. He said the beginning of the pandemic, social distancing requirements would trail off by the end of the year. Now it looks like the middle of next year might be the right time. He said the situation remains very fluid, and we do not rule out the possibility the impact could last longer. So yeah, they're starting to say that this is a possibility. Now, we're already seeing some of the economic impact. There are several projects we reported on the other day that have been closed.
There has since been more.
There have been more, yeah.
But they weren't surprising, though.
No, what was it? Stitch's Great Escape.
It was already closed, pretty much as it was. Now they said it's permanently closed.
Who cares?
And then it was Primeval Whirl, which has gone to seasonal. Anyway,
it's a carny ride. People hate that ride.
Oh my gosh! And they shove you in there. So many people, and it sucks. So the Primeval Whirl is now removed. It was already removed from maps and things, and now it is completely being shut down permanently. And then Rivers of Light, which wasn't out very long, is going to be gone as well. But that is also rumored to be coming anyway. So no surprises, honestly.
They're all kind of duds. Nobody likes Stitch's Great Escape.
They expect a lot more.
I expect more. Yeah, that's the thing. So here's where this is going to take a little while.
This is where Disney might have a kill switch on their own. Yeah,
they have their own kill switch. So this is coming from Pro. He said he's likely to be announcing the biggest news and rumor he will ever make in this thread.
Okay.
As a preface to the information, please remember this information should be treated as a rumor.
Exactly.
People don't understand that.
Rumor.
I cannot verify if any of the information is true, in part or in whole. You should not make any business decisions based on the information, blah, 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 blah,
don't until it's officially announced. Just keep in mind that's a possibility. It is a rumor. That's all this is.
And we know that they're talking
Even though we've heard it from different people too.
Yeah, we know they're talking about some outs because it's looking pretty bad for Disney.
Okay.
The last 24 hours has been very eventful for Disney.
I'm sure it has.
Yep.
A lot of closures.
Oh my God, yeah. While COVID cases in Florida are problematic to follow, Let's see here. Disney has been using the death rate to best gauge public safety. So that's probably going to be the indicator of whether or not, the state shuts down. If the death rate gets too high, which is creeping up, the state could shut down.
Here's the problem, though. Here's the problem they're having. The numbers aren't being reported properly, and the CDC even said that it wasn't being reported properly in Florida. I'm going to address that because it is kind of relevant. So apparently the negatives weren't being reported like they should have been, just the positives, and the issue is that affects percentages. But deaths as well. The death rate is important, but you have to understand too that some states, and I don't know if Florida's one of them, they're labeling things like you died from something else, but you might have had COVID because you got tested after, or you just died from something else and they're labeling it as COVID. Yeah. So the death rate, it's kind of it's not really accurate. But what are you going to do?
Yeah, well, that's it. So within the last 24 hours, the numbers have reached levels that put staying open for Walt Disney World Resort in meaningful jeopardy. Closing WDW is immensely painful for the company. It is their biggest source of revenue.
Well, not just that. How much money did it cost to get it reopened? It was.
Right.
It's not like you can just flip a switch, guys.
So Josh D'Amaro's main job at this point is to keep the resort running, but there could be a situation in which the resort simply can't remain active to guests. At this point, it appears increasing deaths in Florida are increasingly due to nursing home infiltration.
That's what I've heard.
Should that change, Disney could conceivably close the resort or revert back to secure circuit that would involve closing everything except Magic Kingdom and the MK resorts.
Okay, so secure circuit, for those who don't know, is that's what they originally rumored to have done until Universal announced they were opening everything.
Yeah.
And what it was going to be was just Magic Kingdom and the resorts first, and then the circuit would be you'd gradually add other parks as you felt safe enough to do so. That's why it was secure circuit. Plus, they had more control over what they were opening. Go ahead.
A push in that direction comes from the concern that even with their most restrictive capacity ceilings in place, some parks can't generate enough demand to warrant staying open.
Epcot, even though they moved Food and Wine early.
Yeah, that's why they're doing it. They're trying to get people, because honestly, people are going to go. They're going to go to Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, Magic Kingdom's pretty empty too.
Yeah, the 5 minutes for a flight of passage.
Magic Kingdom and Hollywood are what's getting hit.
Well, because there's no park hopping. So what's going on is, people are going to the parks. Obviously they're going to Hollywood because a lot of people didn't get to ride Mickey and Minnie's. It was only open a week.
Hollywood's selling out first on the park passes.
Yeah. So, Star Wars and Mickey and Minnie. To further add to the company's woes the past 24 hours, there was a major breach of security at Twitter. We're going to talk about this.
No kidding.
This is interesting because
this is very interesting.
All of this is interesting. So we're going to go through the whole thing here. While the news media is mostly focusing on the Bitcoin scheme that was part of the Twitter hack.
The distraction,
Disney and other companies are much more concerned about the seemingly true issue that hackers had access to all direct messages on the platform for verified accounts. And I'm going to bring this up. Because they're already saying that might have been the real.
I think that was the real reason.
I am told that a small minority of individuals within the company and linked to the company through various current and former projects may have had information within those direct messages that would be damaging.
Oh boy.
Disney Legal has advised individuals who may have had damaging information in their direct messages to delete their Twitter accounts.
Like Rian Johnson, who just deleted his Twitter account.
We're going to talk about that. At least one individual of significant stature has elected to do so.
Is he talking about Rian Johnson?
I believe he's talking about Rian Johnson, who mysteriously disappeared and didn't tell people why. There is real fear in Burbank that hackers have information about the company, about individuals within the company, etc.,
agendas within the company.
About agendas, which would be particularly unpleasant to have released into the public sphere.
Oh, this is just, I'm trying not to smile, but I'm smiling the whole time just because, it's like, do shitty things, get shitty results.
It gets worse, but wait, there's more.
Good.
Also, within the last 24 hours, the Trump administration has dropped the hammer on the Walt Disney Company. First, there was an executive order in regards to Hong Kong, which can absolutely affect Disney employees and Disney company plans. Attorneys for the company are currently reading through the executive order and seeking guidance from the Trump administration as to how the company can avoid seizure of property due to potentially aiding in the harming of Hong Kong citizens' democratic rights via indirect means. Holy shit. Because of the broad and non-specific language in the executive order, Hong Kong Disney may stay closed indefinitely. So there's more to it than
they haven't given a reopen date.
No, there's more to it than they're going to say COVID, but
Yeah.
it could have to
Because
do
it
with
was
this.
odd, only 52 new positive cases, but they were shutting it down. People are like, wait, there's way more than that in Florida.
No, because they think that they're in the legal.
As we say. But wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more. Regardless of the COVID situation. Furthermore, in a speech on July 16th, Attorney General Barr made headlines with a speech in which he disclosed the number of Chinese Communist Party officials working in Shanghai Disney management, including the number who have communist insignias on their desks. This sent a ripple through the Disney company as they realized that U.S. intelligence has inside information about their Shanghai operations and are confident enough to release that information.
Oh, boy.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, China, if they want, they can do whatever the hell they want in China. They want to be communist. They want to put insignias on their desk. That's up to them. That's their right to do so. The problem is when you're working for a U.S. company, and there has been, I'm not saying it's this case, but there has been situations where they are linking certain apps or certain things to spyware. I'm not saying that's the case in Disney. I'm just saying there has been some incidences of this that have been allegedly tied to China.
Well, we had a high-profile Disney executive leave. He was in charge of Disney Plus, left Disney Plus to go work for TikTok. I'm just saying. Mm-hmm. And we know the mouse loves that Chinese cheddar because their movies, their movies, they are pandering to the Chinese with their movies.
Yeah, I know. It's just like, wow. Oh my goodness.
So this is banned in China in real life.
So what it sounds like to me is that the U.S. intelligence has information about employees at Shanghai Disney that they're worried about.
Yes, and that they seemed, as I'm understanding this, they seem concerned that China has too much influence on America through Disney.
Well, we also know before this there was that bill that they were trying to get put through that if you were a movie studio, you weren't allowed to have some of the money that was coming from the Department of Defense. Like they work with film studios, the Department of Defense, if you were tied to China, and it's probably because we don't want stuff getting leaked to China.
And they're talking Cold War with China. That's what I mean. I'm hearing that there's a potential Cold War.
Basically, China has Mickey by the balls.
Yeah, this is.
That's why he talks like this. Hey, pal.
This is banned in China in real life.
Mickey normally talks like this, but you never hear it because his nuts are twisted. Anyway.
This puts the company in an exceedingly difficult place. Straight from China's demands, everything can be taken like the NBA situation. Act in China's interest in the United States Justice Department may now come calling. Holy shit.
Well, if you're acting in China's interest, I can see,
You're right.
Oh boy, this is really big.
Okay, now there's
of course all rumor.
All rumor, but if you look at some of the circumstantial evidence,
it does seem
Hong Kong closing, Rian Johnson disappearing. It does seem to go.
It kind of does.
With this.
Well, Rian Johnson, they said, was going back up on his Knives Out page, but not his Star Wars stuff and stuff like that. So anyway.
Yeah. So, I mean, was he communicating with Disney people back channel? And would some of those DMs be
prove that there was the issues people thought there were?
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way.
And then give all the man babies a bunch of ammo.
Yeah, KK and him playing and stuff. Good.
Yep. Numbers inside the company now project that cash reserves could hit as low as $6 billion by the end of September.
Oh, shouldn't have bought Fox for $70-some billion.
Nope. With the possibility of this pandemic going into mid-2021. Again, that's what the analysts are even saying, that they're talking mid-2021.
Yeah, I honestly don't think it would go that far, but who knows? I honestly think they should open this early. But they did. Had they not, they might have been in a better place. Anyway.
This is an unsustainable path. With all the previously disclosed information provided, I can now provide insight as to what is driving a wedge between Chapek and Iger.
And it makes total sense, and I totally call it without you were. He did. He said it. I'm like, what? It's his legacy, and that's exactly what it is.
Whereas Iger is interested in his legacy and protecting it at all costs. Shanghai's a big part of that.
God damn, I'm right. Go ahead.
Chapek is a numbers guy. We know he's Chapek. He's known as Chapek for a reason. And Chapek is proving to be formidable and protecting himself from being the scapegoat he might have been if he had allowed it. So he's smarter.
We've been saying we said Chapek wasn't allowed to speak. You notice that when all this was going down, Chapek wasn't allowed to speak, and here comes Iger again. And people were wondering, we mentioned it too, that he was there just CEO in name only, and so he could be the fall guy. And that's basically what they're kind of saying too. But Chapek isn't stupid, and he's kind of making sure that he's trying to make sure he's not the fall guy.
Did he play dumb so he came off as being non-threatening?
That's like that one movie, My Fellow Americans or whatever. Was that the one where the president, the vice president, they all think he's an idiot, and they're basing them on like, Al Gore or whatever, and they think he's an idiot, but it turns out he's the mastermind behind the whole plot to assassinate the president. So yeah, that's what. It's like that.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, oh golly gee, Bob, I'll do whatever you say, Bob. Then as soon as he gets the keys to the kingdom, he's like, yep, I'm doing it my way now. Against the wishes of Iger, a plan is being developed inside the halls that Eisner built, which would allow for, and I do think Eisner was the better.
Well, I'm sorry. In this case, I agree with Chapek.
Yeah, which would allow for Disney to sell and divest its interests in the Shanghai and Hong Kong resorts in a preemptive move to avoid losing them outright due to a possible Cold War between the US and China. It's the red button option. In that situation, Disney would use the sale of Shanghai and Hong Kong rights while maintaining a licensing agreement for IP a la OLC, which is Tokyo.
Which is what they do all the time, guys. We've said this. It's what that's what they've gotten rid of so many of their visions, like gaming and stuff. Why pay for it when you can just license it out and they pay you to use it?
In this case, it's to generate extra cash for a possible extended COVID world where Disney continues to be deprived of revenue. At this point, the red button option is still in its infancy as a strategy, but can quickly be moved into actionable state if the situation continues to deteriorate. Going forward with the red button option is fraught with difficulty, not the least of which being that Iger might resign in protest. Well, Shanghai was his baby.
Well, but here's the next thing, though. What difference does it make if Iger resigns? Honestly, at this point,
it doesn't matter.
But this, of course, is if it's true, is the last resort measure. It's not like that's what they're trying. They're going
it's
for
the kill switch.
It's a backup plan. I told you, Disney has plans upon plans upon plans upon plans, different contingencies for different things. Like they probably have whole giant stacks full of printed out plans. So this is probably the last ditch, last option plan. However, I do agree with Chapek. They needed to divest themselves of some of their extra stuff and cut the bloat. They need to. Yeah,
and Disney's gotten too big. And I want to touch on the Star Wars stuff too while we're talking about stuff.
This is a long video, guys.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot to unpack here. As for Splash Mountain and other frivolous projects, of course, they're going to refurb Splash Mountain as Princess and the Frog. The pendulum has begun to shift inside the company. More information to come at a later date. Power seems to be shifting from certain faction towards an all-hands-on-deck save-the-financials mode. It's about time. Disney needs to shrink.
I agree.
They need to pull in. Iger's legacy is going to be he spent too damn much money, and the company almost went belly up because of it. He also pandered to China and could have potentially gotten the...
Well, to be fair, most of Hollywood has done that.
Right, but I think Disney, more so than other studios, were definitely leading the charge. Let's build a park. Let's build parks overseas. Let's, change movies to suit Chinese audiences. Let's, and it's going
to be fair, though, it is a giant market over there.
It is.
So, I can understand. I can understand why they would. They're a giant market, just as big as we are, probably bigger. I can understand why they made those choices. It's biting them in the ass now, but I get why they wanted to do this. But the problem became where it was dictated by. It wasn't like you can consume this, we create it. It became we dictate. We want your money.
Right.
When they start chasing their money and they had a say in it, is when it became problems.
You can't put XYZ thing in movies because it offends Chinese audiences, and you're betting on that Chinese money, and that's when it became a problem. So this is going to be interesting. Now, again, Twitter won't say if hackers got the DMs.
They had God mode. They got the DMs.
I think they did, because you can download the DMs. I think that, you and I were talking, that is the ultimate goal. Like the Bitcoin thing was like, oh, look, it's just a harmless little scam. You can blackmail Hollywood. You can blackmail politicians. You can blackmail journalists.
The one person I talked to that was on the security thing said they didn't know how long they had it for. They could have had it for a while.
Months.
And they just didn't flag that, look, the Bitcoin for their cover-up distraction until they were done. That was the last thing they did. So who knows how long they had it.
It's like Watchmen, not the HBO series, but the original graphic novel. You don't monologue about your plan until you've already done it.
Right.
At that point, the bad guy he'd already carried out the plan. He's like, you can't stop me. I already did it.
And now they're just chasing their tail and distracted by the Bitcoin and all the people. And they got all these people that were dumb enough to to do it. Understandably, though, because it was a confirmed account. Why would you think they were hacked? People did it. And now they're all yelling about their money. So there's a mass of people all screaming about one thing while they're sneaking out the back door. They already created a distraction. They're already gone, and they don't know how long they had it for.
Yeah, Yeah. Now, here's...
They aren't going to tell anybody the truth.
No, they're not. So, look, Disney's they're clearly looking to sell off assets. They already sold off, a gaming company, an advertising company. This is a big one. This is the longest of the long shots, right? Because there's been...
I don't think this is going to happen.
I'll be honest, it would take... I'm never going to say never, but it would take Disney being completely humbled beyond belief to do this. But there is talk now that would they be forced to sell off Star Wars?
Well, they did. Okay, I'm not going to say never. What I'm going to say is if they did, they're going to definitely build some kind of... they get to keep rights for their films and the parks in it. So it's not going to be... If they sell it, they're not going to sell it in its entirety. They'll make sure they keep rights to use...
Yeah, I could see that. I could see them being like, well, yeah, they just spent billions of dollars on Galaxy's Edge. It would be like we have a kind of like the Marvel deal with Universal.
That's what I'm saying. And they did with the video games.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not going to say it could never happen. It would basically be like we don't have the rights to make any more new movies and TV shows or books or whatever. But these theme parks, for the next 50 years, we've got Star Wars.
Rights, yeah.
In the theme park, so it could possibly happen. That would be
unlikely, but
that would be incredibly desperate. Now, the only potential buyer I could think of at this point
is George Lucas
with Rupert Murdoch.
Oh, because he was mad because he wanted... Yes, because Rupert Murdoch was really pissed when he found out Disney bought Star Wars because he didn't know it was for sale and he wanted it because they were always together with 20th Century Fox. So that makes sense.
Yeah, Rupert Murdoch is like the only guy in Hollywood, and I've had Hollywood insiders talk about this with me. He's flush with cash because he's got all that money from Disney.
So does Lucas.
So does George Lucas. And he was absolutely livid. So, yeah, we can talk about that. Rupert Murdoch, who is flush with cash, was crazed after Disney bought Lucasfilm because that was their biggest franchise ever.
He was like, well, if I knew it was for sale, I would have bought it.
Yes. So he's got money. He's got Disney's money. Disney paid him $70 billion.
$70+ billion, 73 or whatever.
For his leftovers, basically.
Yeah.
Stuff that wasn't worth it.
It wasn't worth 70. And basically what happened was their original bid, it was fine. But Comcast, AT&T, they drove it up. I mean, I think that was like a show thing. Okay, fine. You're going to make, you want it? Fine, you're going to pay for it. And we're going to make you spend as much as you can.
Yeah.
So you blow through your money, and then we're going to go over here and do our own things, and you're not going to be able to compete with us.
Yep, that's exactly. Then they were like, okay, cool. You just blew all that money. We're going to bring Nintendo into the theme parks.
Their arrogance was their undoing.
It was.
Iger's arrogance.
Iger's arrogance. That's going to be Iger's legacy. You want to talk about his legacy? His legacy is going to be he spent too damn much money.
He did.
And then they ruined the stuff they bought.
It's true.
So Murdoch's flush with cash. He's on pretty good terms with George Lucas. Something interesting happened that most people didn't even see this.
We did. You mentioned it right off.
I mentioned it in videos before. We never did a specific video on it. But Rupert Murdoch went out and bought Toby. Mm-hmm. He bought Tubi a couple months ago.
It's already built.
It's already built.
It's already all there. I mean, now you can just do what you want with it.
So he's already got a streaming service. So let that sink in. Rupert Murdoch is flush with cash. He's already got a streaming service.
And he got it pretty cheap, all things considered.
He got for like what?
$440 million.
For $440 million, which is a fraction of what Disney paid to build Disney Plus. He's got a streaming service with a built-in audience.
And a built-in platform.
So
the structure's there.
So it's not out of the realm of possibility that Rupert Murdoch could be like, okay, fine, Disney's flat ass broke. We're going to take Tubi. We're going to start making new content. Oh, by the way, I'll give you guys your money back. I want Star Wars. Let's go make Star Wars.
Some of their other properties he sold them. He might want to take them back.
Aliens or something.
It might. And if they're desperate, they'll do it, and he'll get it for a fraction because that's what happened with the Power Rangers.
I have that.
Oh, see, I knew you were going with this. I don't even know what he had pulled up, guys. I just came in after he pulled it all up.
So here's the thing with the Power Rangers. This is another franchise of Disney. There were some good Disney. I liked SPD.
Yes, our son loved SPD.
But it never felt like old school Power Rangers.
Was Mystic Force?
Mystic Force was
under
under
Disney. You liked that one too.
So they got Power Rangers because, again, Disney and Fox back and forth. They bought Fox Kids. Mm-hmm. And they got Power Rangers as part of the deal. Disney mismanaged the Power Rangers. I remember when the Power Rangers.
Just end with Disney mismanaged. That pretty much sums
the Muppets.
Up. The Muppets, Star Wars, Power Rangers. Should we continue?
I could conceive. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I could conceivably see them selling the Muppets back to the Henson.
Well, they're just doing a whole new show on Disney Plus at the end of the month with the Muppets. Muppets Now.
license it out.
But it actually looks like they might be going back to the old Muppets.
Good.
They might have learned their damn lesson with the last one. Anyway, back to this.
we're
going really long.
We are.
Like, you're still talking. My God.
I'm just saying there is precedent. The precedent is that Haim Saban came in and he was able to buy back Power Rangers because Disney had run it into the ground.
Right.
He got it cheap. He bought it back, and then he turned around like 10 years later and sold to Hasbro for a ton of money. Yeah, because they got a hold of, it wasn't like a direct sale. It was like
it was
they
part
bought.
of.
Yeah, they bought ABC Family, which was like it was like CBN, ABC Family, Fox Kids, whatever. It was all tied together. They bought it in 2001, so they ran Power Rangers, and they were like filming it in like Australia and New Zealand for a while, and they did it for like 5 or 6 seasons, whatever. And then Haim Saban got it back, and then he turned around and sold it for big bucks to Hasbro, so they could make the toys. So. It is possible. I mean, if Disney, they would have to be really, really desperate, but there's a buyer.
This would be as viable as the red button at this point, I think. It's like last ditch.
Yeah.
Whatever. They have to do it to keep their parks and keep their movies and keep all other stuff. They might, but they were going to definitely leverage it that they keep rights for theme parks or whatever for so many years. There's no way they'll not do that.
Yeah, but look at Disney dropped the ball with the merchandising. Star Wars merchandise rots on the shelf.
Botch Star Wars. I mean, there's no question.
Same way that a lot of Power Rangers fans don't discuss the Disney era. If this would ever happen, it'd be like, oh, remember those Disney movies? Yeah, nobody cares. We've moved on. We've moved on. So I don't know, guys. There's definitely stuff going on behind the scenes, and Disney's in full-on panic mode like never before. Like
rumored, allegedly.
No, we know they're panicking.
I know. We have to say rumored and alleged because
rumored and alleged. So take it for what it's worth. It's rumors, but there is some supporting evidence that this could actually be going on. All right, so we're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah, finally.
Okay, so please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, and we'll talk later.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.